the presentation up until now was kind of a what's going on in the market. Now we're going to talk about what to do in today's market based on that. And specifically, we're going to get into a bunch of the different strategies and talk about which strategies work best. And again, this meeting is broadcast. We are live, we're online. It is sponsored by the Texas REIAs, the largest by far network of real estate investor associations in the great state of Texas. Over 150,000 members, participants, and attendees going back to 2003. And the question is, why do you care and why does that matter? Well, the reason it matters and the reason you might want to care is because real estate is local. Laws are local, contracts are local, contractors are local, buyers and sellers are local. Everything about real estate is local. There's 30,000 YouTube videos that talk about how to invest in real estate. They all talk about how to do it anywhere. How to do it anywhere is how to do it at 30,000 feet. But real estate is not bought and sold at 30,000 feet. Real estate is bought and sold at 0 feet. So if you want to know what laws apply here and which neighborhoods to invest in here and where to get money and power teams here, that's what you get at your local real estate investor association. And my job is to make you all into educated and contributing members of this community. So we are live and we are broadcasting. If you're on GoToWebinar, you are live. On the other hand, if you are listening on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitch, you may or may not be live. But if you'd like to come to a future live training, just go to flipping.com/events, and you can come and join any number of training events that we provide constantly to the members of this organization. So to start this presentation, this next presentation, I'm going to answer a question that I get a lot of when I talk to investors. A lot of you are probably here because you're either new or you're looking to take this business to the next level. And the most common question we get when people are getting started is where to start. And I got to tell you, there's no right or wrong answer. There's many answers, and I'm going to talk about them. For example, you can do residential real estate. You can do commercial real estate. You can be an active investor, or you could be a passive investor. And people always ask, well, which is the best one? And my answer is going to be yes. We do all of these. I operate in all 4 quadrants. We have members of this organization that operate in all 4 quadrants, and they're all great. But to me, each of these quadrants just solves a different problem. So the question to ask yourself is, why are you here? What problem are you trying to solve? For example, if you tell me, what I'm trying to do is I want to quit my job, replace my income, get a side hustle. I want to make maybe $100,000 and in the next 12 months doing something related to real estate. And I want to do that even if I have little or no money. I'm going to say, if that's why you're here, you need to flip houses. Flipping houses. We use 12 different strategies. 9 of them take no money and no credit. I'm going to tell you whether you have money or not. If you have money, that's great. Even if you have money, though, it's not going to help that much. And the reason it's not going to help you that much is because nobody has enough money to be a real estate investor. I don't have enough. Elon Musk does not have enough money to invest in real estate. If you have $500,000 in your checking account, great, good for you. Go buy a house. Okay, now you're done. Yep, that was it. Can't buy another house until you sell that house. No, that doesn't scale. You see, you have to be prepared to buy any house at any time at any price. The deal of a lifetime could show up on your plate tomorrow. So whether you have money or not, you have to learn how to do this with either no money or other people's money, because that's the only way it scales. And if your goal is to make yourself an extra maybe $100,000 in the next, I don't know, 12 months, I'm going to say you should flip houses. Now, if you say, but that's not really why I'm here. I like my job. I'm not looking to replace my job or even necessarily supplement my income. I want to build wealth. I want to retire wealthy, right? That's my number one goal. If that's your number one goal, I would say you need to buy rental properties. You need to buy rental properties. I've been buying rental properties for 20 years. Now I own $30 million worth of rental properties. And over the last 20 years, those properties have doubled and doubled and doubled, and some have doubled again, and the tenants paid off the mortgages on a lot of them. So I own a lot of them free and clear. So I now have a total debt of $5 million on a $30 million portfolio. So my net worth has grown dramatically, right, from just buying and rental properties. So if your goal is to build wealth, I'm going to say buy rental properties. Great, great thing to do. But if you say that's still not my problem is I have money and I want to make money with my money. I want to invest my money in something that is safer and higher return than the stock market and less risk than the stock market, then I'm going to say, well, you should be probably investing in commercial syndications. Commercial syndications typically have on average twice, 2x the stock market and half the risk. You know, once people learn, wealthy people really don't invest in the stock market. They invest in private equity, they invest in commercial real estate. Because once you learn about things that are twice the return and half the risk, you never go back to the stock market. When you ask financial planners, what do you think about commercial real estate? They hate commercial real estate. And the reason they hate it is because every time their clients figure out commercial real estate, they lose their clients, right? It's like a one-way ticket. I haven't invested, honestly, in the stock market in 20 years because I just know of other things. So if you say, I got money, I want to make money with my money, even with your IRA, 401k, whatever, I'm going to say you should be investing in commercial syndications. But then finally, if you say, but that's not my problem either, what I'm here to do is I want to do the multi-million-dollar deals. I don't want to make 100,000 or 200 or 300,000. I want to make $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. I want to make millions of dollars a year. Then I'm going to say you should be syndicating commercial properties. You should be doing commercial flips, sponsoring commercial syndications. So all of these things are great things to do. I play in all four quadrants and I love them all. But the question to ask is like, which one is right for you? So I'll do a poll of the audience. I have no idea what the answer is going to be. How many of you are here because you'd like to supplement your income in the next 12 months? Who's here because you want to make money, make an extra 100,000, 200,000, 300,000? Okay, great. How many of you are here mostly because you'd like to build long-term wealth? Who are the mostly long-term wealth builder? Oh, that's pretty popular. How many of you are here because you got a pile of money, you just want to make money with your money? Who wants to just make money with your money? Okay, we got a few of those. How many of you are here because you're here to do the multi-million-dollar deals? The multi-million-dollar deals. Okay, we got a couple of those too. Great, they're all awesome. Where most people start is flipping houses. And I'm going to tell you, you know, that's a great place to start. You can become a millionaire. That's how I became a millionaire, flipping houses. I'm going to say when you flip houses, keep the best ones. We have kind of the Bluebell ice cream philosophy with houses. You know, we eat all we can, we sell the rest, right? And the same thing with houses. I keep all I can and I sell the rest, right? Because you got to make income, but we also want to build wealth. And then when you have more money than you need to pay your bills, you're going to want to make money with your money. And the best way to do that is start to invest in commercial syndications. When you invest in commercial syndications, the best way to really learn real estate, commercial real estate, is to simply invest in commercial real estate. Because you get to see the deals and get copies of the business plans, you get to meet the sponsors, you really get to understand it. And you get paid. You put 50,000 in, typically you get 100,000 back. So you just got paid 50 grand to learn how it works. And then finally, if you put 100,000 in a deal and you get 200,000 back, you're going to think that's pretty awesome, but the guy I gave my 100,000 to just made $1 million. Maybe I want to be that guy. So eventually you're going to want to be that guy. We love them all, and they're all fantastic. And we invest in all four of these quadrants. We have groups within this network that do all four of these things, and we love them all. So one of the things that's unique, I think, about the Texas REIAs is most people that like teach real estate, they all have like, this is the best way, no, this is the best way, no, this is the best way. My answer is yes, they're all right. They're all fantastic. All of these things are great, but they all just are good for different purposes. They all solve different problems. By the way, for those of you that are particularly interested in commercial real estate, you might want to take a picture of that QR code. We have some fantastic resources, free training for people that want to learn how commercial works. So go ahead and take a little snapshot of that. When you take a snapshot of these QR codes, what it does is it says you want to send a text message. It sends a text message to our AI chat, our AI bot, who will then send you back information about whatever that particular resource is. So if you're interested in particularly in commercial, click on that. We'll send you some free training for commercial. Okay. Now, most of you were interested in quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. So we're going to start with quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. So good news, if you're interested in supplementing your income, we're going to show you 11 different ways to do that, most of which take little or no money and no credit. And then I'm going to also tell you, keep the best, right? And we keep and buy and hold the best of those. So let's get into some different strategies, and we're going to go through a little training here today and teach you how some of this stuff works. By the way, any of you that don't know me, my name is Phil Grove. I'm one of the co-founders of the Texas REIAs, one of the co-founders of flipping.com. I started investing on December 15, 2003, day I did my very first deal. Negotiated over 1,200 deals, so I've been doing this for quite a while. The smartest thing I ever did was buy rental properties when they were incredibly expensive, and guess what? They went up in value over the last 20 years. Made a lot of money along the way. That's a nice byproduct of being a real estate investor. I've also taught personally over 100,000 people how to invest in real estate. And I got to tell you, we call this, what I'm doing right now, bringing people along for the ride. When you start investing in real estate, a natural byproduct will be bringing people along for the ride. What do I mean by that? I'm going to tell you all something about investing in real estate. It's a really dumb idea. Real estate's a really dumb idea. Just ask your friends, ask your family, they'll agree it's a really dumb idea. And it remains a really dumb idea right up until the moment you do what? Make money. And as soon as you make money, it instantly goes from a really dumb idea to a really brilliant idea, and all those people that told you it was a dumb idea are going to say, show me how you did that, right? And then we call that bringing people along for the ride. And I'm going to tell you, everybody at some point in their lives, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, kind of gets into this mode where they're like, I need to make more money, I need to change my trajectory, I need to improve my financial situation. And then they look at all the different possibilities, and then they start to check out real estate. And as it turns out, 80% of the millionaires got their all or in part from investing in real estate. And the way my brain translates that is it's really hard to become a millionaire not investing in real estate. Okay, so let's talk about real estate. These are some of the deals I did. I don't have time to go through them all. But I do up to a real estate transaction a week in some shape, form, variety, or another. And what that does is it creates what I call money in big chunks. Now that sounds cool, right? Money in big chunks. But I'm not here to sound cool. I'm really here to teach you. How does this business work? The way this business fundamentally works is as follows. We do things to find people with problems. And the good news is for every problem that exists, we have a solution. A strategy that helps people, this is about helping people, solves their problem, and gets us paid. We can help motivated, non-motivated, free and clear, hopelessly underwater. So I'll give you some examples. I found somebody facing foreclosure, right, big problem, and I gave them an alternative, something called a short sale that allowed them to sell their house without having to face foreclosure and destroy their life, and I made $16,000 helping somebody solve their problem. REO stands for real estate owned, bank-owned properties. Banks do not want to own real estate. So I helped the bank get rid of a house. I flipped it, made $36,000. A guy had a legal problem, had to sell a house by Friday. Right, a realtor cannot sell your house by Friday. I can. Helped him get that house sold, wholesaled it, made $5,000. Got a property subject to my specialty, no money, no credit, flipped it, made $68,000, $5,600 on an assignment. $6,000 from a mortgage assignment, $10,000 on a wholesale. There it is, $2,800 on a referral, small referral, $12,400 for a large referral. The way this business fundamentally works is as follows. We do things to get people with problems to call us, and then here's the really beautiful part. For every problem that exists, there is no exception, so let me repeat that. For every problem that exists, for every address that exists, for every home that exists, we have a solution, a strategy that helps the homeowner. It's about helping people, solves their need, and gets us paid. We can help motivated sellers and non-motivated sellers, free and clear. We can help people that are hopelessly underwater. You're going to see how we can help people even that are hopelessly underwater solve their problem, right, and get ourselves paid. Sometimes we get singles, sometimes we get doubles, and sometimes we get home runs. Sometimes I work on a lead, a deal, an opportunity, a problem for 6 months, and after 6 months I make $5,000. And I'm like, oh man, 6 months, $5,000? I could have made more money working at Walmart. Thank goodness I'm not working on just one lead at a time. Sometimes my phone rings and that phone call makes me $55,000 in 48 hours. I'm like, oh man, I wish every time my phone rang I made $55,000 in 48 hours. But that's not how it works either. That's maybe 1 in 100 phone calls. So the question to ask yourself is, how often do you get 100 phone calls? Well, you can determine that. That depends on you, how many deals you look at and how much marketing that you do. Do you get 100 phone calls a week? Do you get 100 phone calls a month? Or do you get 100 phone calls a year? That depends on you and how many deals that you look at and how much marketing that you do. So there's 2 essential skills you have to learn to be a real estate investor. The 2 skills you have to learn to be a real estate investor are, first and foremost, marketing. Marketing is finding the deal, generating a lead. A lead is just a name and number of an address of somebody that might want to sell real estate. So you're going to spend 85% of your time and money on marketing, looking at deals, generating leads, outsource everything else. The next skill we have to learn is strategy. Strategy is doing the deal or solving the problem. We buy houses, we help people sell houses and get rid of houses and mortgages they don't want, can't afford. We do it in a variety of different ways. It solves a variety of different problems. So marketing and strategy, finding deals, doing deals, finding problems, and solving problems. So we use 65 different methods to find off-market wholesale properties. I'm going to show you what those methods are because we buy off-market. We use a dozen different strategies to help people solve the problem and get ourselves paid. Over half of the marketing methods are completely free. And 9 of the 12 investing strategies are actually no money, no credit strategies. And when you learn how to buy real estate with no money and no credit, then how many houses can you buy? All of them. How many would you guys like to buy? All of them. When I shout out a question, if you just kind of shout back like all of them, you're probably going to get it right, just so you know. Okay, so marketing and strategy, finding deals, doing deals, finding problems, solving problems. Let's get started with finding the deal, marketing. Well, actually, first let me tell you a quick story. This was my first deal. This was the very first house I flipped on December 15, 2003. But I'll tell you a story. On December 14, 2003, I was scared to death. I was actually being mentored by the 2 guys who ran the REIA back then. I called them both on the phone. I'm scared. Are you sure this is going to work? I don't want to lose any money. Yeah, it took 2 seasoned investors pulling me, kicking and screaming over the starting blocks to get me to do my first deal. So if you're scared, I get it, I can relate, and I can help. But I actually had one other thing that was motivating me to move forward. I was in a job I no longer loved, and I was in a career that I no longer loved. And I'm going to tell you guys, if you're spending your time doing something you don't love doing, you need to do something different with your life plan, right? Because you only get one life. And I got to tell you, man, it just races by. It just races by. My wife and I recently had a baby boy. And this last weekend, I noticed that there was a 15-year-old running around in my house. It's like, what happened? He's taller than me. It's like you feed them and they get big. It's like, and now he's like talking cars. It's like, this is terrifying. It's like he was a baby. Now he's like talking about getting a car. It's like, holy cow. Man, it just races by. And if you're not on a trajectory to getting the life that you want, maybe we need to change the trajectory. When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time to plant a tree? That would be now. You know, it's funny because we actually sponsor a show called The Flipping Show, flipping.com show. And every week we interview one of you, somebody in this network, that's typically now a millionaire or multimillionaire. Like, I don't know another organization that can point to a member on a weekly basis, millionaire, millionaire, millionaire. We can actually do that. We're prideful about it. And we always ask the same question, always get the same answer. Like, what's your biggest regret? I've never asked a millionaire real estate investor that question without getting the same answer. I wish I started sooner. Every one of them, every one. What does that tell you? Right now would be good. So yeah, what really motivated me to move forward? I needed a different life. I was at a point in my life where I needed a different life. So let's talk a little bit about that first deal. Your first deal, in many ways, is your most important deal. life-changing experience. Kind of like your first kiss, right? Life-changing experience. Everybody remembers their first kiss. Everybody remembers their first deal. I'll tell you about mine. It took me 6 months to find my first deal. I was actually a very slow starter. I got it under contract using a contract I got right here at the REIA. I bought the property using OPM, other people's money, right? We have 1,000 private money lenders in this network. Private money is faster, cheaper, better, more reliable than any other kind of money. I got a contractor here at the REIA to fix the property. I got a realtor here at the REIA to sell the property. Got a title company attorney right here at the REIA to close on the property. And I went to that very first closing. I picked up that very first check, $15,384.26. And when they handed me that check, it was like you unscrewed the cap, popped out the old brain, popped in the new brain. Because right up until the moment that they handed me that check, I was a real estate investor based on theory. I wasn't sure I even believed the theory. I don't know if this is going to work, not sure about that, don't know about that. But the second they handed me that check, like a switch flipping, I became a real estate investor based on experience. I didn't know anything different except I knew it actually worked. And what I realized when they handed me that check is if I did this and this and this again, I get another check. Worked the first time. And if I did this and this again, I get another check. But the really big deal that I realized when they handed me that check, at that moment I realized that I would never, ever, 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 ever have to work for somebody else. Ever, never, ever, ever, ever again. Yeah, and I have not worked for anybody else, even for 1 second, since they handed me that check. So if you're new, right, and you're just getting started, my first piece of advice is you need to focus like a laser beam on that first deal. That first deal will change your life, mostly by changing your mindset. Deals 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 combined. Now it's already deal number 1. Now I told you I was going to tell you what I did right. I'm also going to tell you what I did wrong. I made one big rookie mistake that every rookie makes on that very first deal. I spent all that time finding the deal. I found the deal. Once I found the deal, I kind of put my marketing on hold. I picked up some hammers. I managed some contractors. I worked on that deal. I got that check, only to wake up the next day and realize I had absolutely nothing to do. Well, except start the whole business all over again. And this gets me to my very first takeaway. And this is probably the biggest takeaway of the day. The business of being a real estate investor is the business of finding deals. It's all about finding deals. Why? Because you make the money on the buy. What does that mean? As soon as you find a property, get it under contract, whatever money was going to be made or not made, it's done. Right then. Yeah, you get the money at the end on the sell, but you make the money on the buy. And once you realize that, you always have to spend 85% of your time and money on marketing, looking for the next deal. Because the next deal is always more important than the deal you have now. The rookies all screw this up. The rookies find a deal, and while they're working on the deal, they're not looking for the next deal. So they finish the deal, they get the check, right, and then they reset their marketing. Eventually they get it going again. And eventually they find another deal. And they do a deal and they make some money. Great, great, great. But they're working on the deal and not looking for the next deal. So they reset the marketing. Eventually they get it going again. They find another deal. They do a deal. They make some money. Great, great. But while they're working on the deal, they're not doing the marketing. And their income goes up and down with big gaps in between. You need your income to go up, 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 up. And the only way to do that is you always have to be spending 85% of your time and money on marketing, looking for the next deal, because the next deal is more important, always more important than the deal you have now. And hint, the deals you are looking for are not in the MLS. The MLS is the multiple listing service. It's the retail market for real estate. It's where realtors sell real estate. It's where all the people in the world compete with each other to see who will pay the most. And I hate to say it, but when you're competing against all the people in the world, some of those people are stupid. And you don't want to compete against stupid. Well, you don't want to win competing against stupid. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. I love the MLS. I adore the MLS. Why do I love and adore the MLS? Because after I buy off-market wholesale real estate, where do I then want to go resell it? On the MLS. It has been proven that any property listed for sale on the MLS will sell for the most it could possibly be sold for. But that's never where you're going to find heavily discounted wholesale real estate. The very best deal on the entire MLS would rarely be a deal that a real estate investor would even take a second look at. So finding deals. Oh, here's that rookie mistake. You don't want to make the mistake, right? Their income goes up and down and up and down and up and down because they keep turning their marketing on and off and on and off and on and off. No, you never stop marketing. Your next deal is always more important than the deal you have right now, right? You need to spend 85% of your time and money on marketing, looking for the next deal, and you never stop marketing. So finding deals, let's talk about finding deals. Once I realized this whole shoot and match is about finding deals, then I started to systematize the process of finding deals. And over time, I developed 65 different methods to find off-market wholesale deals. Well, actually, that's not totally accurate to say I developed 65 methods. What would be more accurate is to say I found 65 things that work and I started to do those things. But I need to teach you all a really important lesson. And maybe the most important lesson I'm going to teach you today. But for me to teach you this next lesson, first I need to unteach you all something. Okay, so I got to unteach you all something. When you guys were in elementary school, if you looked over the paper next to you and you copied down the answers, that was called what? Cheating. And you're all told that cheating is what? Bad, wrong. Okay, we're not a bunch of little kids. We're no longer in elementary school. Going forward, I need you all to unlearn that. Because going forward, guess what? Cheating is actually the shortcut. What am I saying up here? What I'm trying to say is this. There's nothing that you are trying to do, there's absolutely nothing that you are trying to figure out that I and other people haven't done and figured out. Everything, and I mean everything, and I mean absolutely everything about this business has been completely figured out. We know what's in the soil. We know the zoning. We know the guys that write the zoning. We know the appreciation rate down to the street address in all the major streets in all the major cities across the state of Texas. We know the exact letters to send to the exact marketing list. We know the exact words to say. We know the exact offers to make. We know exactly what objections we're going to get. We know exactly how to overcome the objections. We even know on average how many contracts we're going to get signed for every 20,000 letters we send out. Everything, and I mean everything, and I mean absolutely everything about this business is completely understood. And once I realized everything I was trying to do and everything I was trying to figure out, other people had actually done and figured out, I stopped trying to figure everything out and I just started to, here's this word, copy, right? Copy 65 tested, proven methods of actually finding deals. Now, some of these methods that I'm going to teach you take time, and some of these methods or campaigns take money. When you get started, you probably have more time and less money. Once you get going, you're going to have more money and less time. I will be honest with you, I don't spend any time anymore on marketing. I outsource 100%. But when you're getting started, you're probably going to insource more. Okay, then what are all these different methods of actually finding off-market wholesale deals? Well, the first set of methods has to do with marketing lists. Where do you get the deal? You can buy marketing lists. Okay, and then what do you do with a marketing list? You can send them marketing. You can send them letters. You can send them postcards. You can call them on the phone. You can send them a text message. You can drop a voicemail into their voicemail box. You can knock on their door. Or you can do what I do, and you can have an AI-powered chatbot chat with them while you're sleeping and negotiate with thousands and thousands and thousands of people simultaneously and schedule appointments with the motivated ones who want you to make them an offer, right? Or you can do a combination of all of those things. You know, technology has dramatically simplified this, right? You saw, some of you, those little things that popped up. You know, we have tools and lists, right, that you can just buy the list and let the tool do the work for you. Or you can do a combination, right, of those things, right, which we call a multi-touch campaign. So what are some of the popular lists? Where do you find the off-market wholesale deals? Well, you can get a list called a tax late list. This is a list of people that did not pay their property taxes. A lot of people aren't paying their property taxes. You can get a pre-foreclosure list. These are people that are 30, 60, 90, or 121 days late paying their mortgage, and they're going to get foreclosed on. You can get a divorce list. Two people were combining their income to pay a mortgage. Now one of them's gone. Well, the one that's left is probably having trouble paying the mortgage by themselves, so they're probably motivated. You can get a list of people that have inherited a house from somebody that passed away, people whose credit scores are starting to fall, people that just got dismissed from bankruptcy. Certainly a lot of financial distress there. You can get a non-owner occupied list. This is a list of people that own a house where they don't live in the house that they own. Technically, that is called a landlord. And a lot of them are what we call accidental landlords. They tried to sell a house, they couldn't sell it, so they rented it. Or they let an ex-spouse or family member or neighbor stay in a house, or they inherited a house with a tenant. They don't really know anything about being a landlord, and very often, eventually, they become motivated sellers. You can get a list of people that rent to people on public assistance. You can get a code enforcement list. The city is already driving around, issuing citations for abandoned houses and hoarder houses and deferred maintenance houses. And do you know you can get the city to give you a list of every single problem property in the city? You can even get an expired listing list. This is a list of people that hired a realtor, tried to sell it, and it didn't sell. So what do we know about these people? We know 100% of these people would like to sell their house, probably now more than ever, but they probably need solutions that realtors don't offer. Well, that's exactly what investors do offer. So if you send letters, postcards, voicemails, door knocks, chatbot, whatevers to these people that have problems, some of them will call you back. If you make them an offer that solves their problem, you will see we have a strategy or more strategy to solve every conceivable problem under the sun. Some of them will say yes, and those are called deals. With a website, you can get leads on the internet. Bandit signs, little plastic signs you see on the side of the road, right? We buy houses. Why do you see those signs on the side of the road? Because they work. Online ads work, email, autoresponders, magnetic signs, a little sign on the side of your car. You buy this sign once, you get leads for the rest of your life. Door hangers. You don't want to send postage? You can pay somebody 10 cents a door to put a door hanger on every door in a neighborhood. Here's one that's pretty much free, driving for dollars. Sometimes I'm just driving around and I see a tarp on a roof. Okay, they might as well be waving a big red flag. Desperate motivated seller, please buy my house. Now think about this. Somebody's most valuable asset, okay, a house, has a serious problem. It's called a leak. And their solution was to go buy a $5 tarp at Home Depot. How come they didn't fix the roof? What do you think? No money. Same guy not fixing the roof, probably not paying his mortgage, probably not paying his insurance, probably not paying his taxes sooner or later, and investors going to pick up that deal. You don't have to do all of these things, guys. You have to do 3 of these things. Some of these things take time. Some of these things take money, right? They ebb and they flow. We'll talk about that. Some of these are a good fit. Some of these are a bad fit. What are the other marketing methods? Oh, wait. We interrupt this program for a special announcement. Actually, I already gave you this. We talked about this. So what is the announcement? Yeah, we have some training coming up. Let's talk about that. So I teach this myself, by the way, practical, actionable, step-by-step training where we get into the details of these 12 strategies, all 65 marketing campaigns. I even go through the closes. It's probably my favorite thing to teach. Closes are the scripts, the exact words you say to get somebody to accept your solution to their problem, your offer on their property. So I'll give you an example. Recently, I said some magic words, right? Closes are like magic. So I said some magic words to a woman here in Texas. And after just uttering these magic words, she gave me her house. Just handed me the key. She gave me the deed to the house. Beautiful house. Didn't have to give her any money at all. All right, nothing wrong with the house. The house is actually in perfect condition. And she just gave me the house and said, thank you for taking my house because of these magic words. Like Jack and the Beanstalk has magic beans. I have magic words. We call them closes. So I just said some magic words, and a woman just gave me her house and said, thank you for taking the house. Beautiful house. Who's a little skeptical right now? Raise your hand if you're a little skeptical right now. Okay, who's not skeptical right now? Seriously? What is wrong with you? You believe that?
That's why I'm here.
Are you kidding me? I just said I have magic words.
You're good at sales.
Well, I don't know. Apparently so. I mean, if you believe that, that's ridiculous. I'm baiting you. You know I'm baiting you, right? Well, hey, I just claimed, seriously, that I have magical words. And by just uttering these magical words, I got some woman to just give me her house, hand me the keys, hand me the deed, took no money at all, said, thank you for taking this beautiful house. I had nothing wrong with it. Okay, so that's my claim. I'm going to try this again. Who's feeling a little skeptical right now? Be honest, who's feeling a little skeptical right now? Okay, I expect you to feel skeptical. Listen to your wife. She knows what she's doing. All right, well, she should be skeptical. I just said something ridiculous, okay? So please remain skeptical. I want you to be skeptical because I just said something crazy, so you should feel very skeptical. And I want you to remain skeptical. And the more skeptical you are, the more amazed you're going to be in a few minutes when I actually demonstrate what I actually did. But those are the closes, right? And they're a lot of fun to teach. So, yeah, we're doing this live. Come live. You can also attend online. We simulcast online. I teach the whole thing myself. I do enjoy teaching. And, we also have a commercial workshop. We do part 1, part 2. Most people start with the residential. If you come to the residential, then you get invited to a second workshop that's a commercial workshop. So pick your location. We're doing it in Dallas, Houston, and in Austin on these dates. And we'll hand out a little form, and we'll post a little link online for you guys to get registered. Now, if none of these dates work, if you have a conflict, for example, if your daughter is getting married, I suggest that you cancel the wedding, okay? Because the most important thing that's going to happen on these dates is a workshop that's going to change your life in a good way. All righty. So, and I'll put that up at the end, and we'll hand out a little form at the end. But let me get back into the marketing. How do you find the deals? Here's another way, letters of intent. What is a letter of intent? A letter of intent is an offer. So the question is, who should you send an offer to? And the answer is everybody. So I'm going to give you all a homework assignment. This is your homework assignment. Tomorrow I want each of you to send 300 people an offer on their house. I'm not kidding. Because here's how investors think. Ready, fire, aim. You make the offer, and then you negotiate. You make the offer, and then you do your due diligence. You make the offer, and then you look for the money. You make the offer, and then you think about it. This is the difference between people that get there quickly and people that take a long time to get there, right? The pros, ready, fire, aim. The rookies, ready, aim, 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 fire. And while the rookie's aiming, what is the pro doing? Firing. What happens to the guy that fires first? You should make everybody an offer. Why not? Do you know that every time you make somebody an offer here in Texas, you get 4 different options? You might want to write them down. Option number 1, you can buy a house because they might say yes. If you take 300 shots on goal, what do you think is going to happen? Some of them are going in. Some of them are going in, even if you suck. And with practice, what happens? More of them go in. Because with practice, you don't suck anymore. Sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time. So you make everybody an offer, right? So option number 1, you can buy a house. Option number 2, you can terminate the offer after you make it. Do you know the Texas state promulgated contract gives the buyer the unilateral right to just rip it up, walk away, no harm, no foul, no penalty, no cost, no penalty, no expense, no risk? Option number 3, you can renegotiate the offer after you make it. Do you know it's much, much, much easier to renegotiate than it is to negotiate? Even in traditional real estate, people make an offer all the time. They get an inspection report, they terminate or they renegotiate. Option number 4, you can even sell the contract, the offer itself, to somebody else that has money. Notice only one of those 4 options even required you to come up with any money to make an offer, to buy a house. Just make offers. Give yourself options, lots and lots of options. Okay, what are all the other marketing methods? Okay, business card, for sale by owner. Why would somebody try to sell their own house? Maybe they're lazy, maybe they're crazy, maybe they need solutions that realtors don't offer. Why so many different marketing methods? Well, the question is, would you rather fish with a hook or would you rather fish with a net? And the answer is, you need to learn to fish with a net, because this business is a numbers game. And now I'm going to teach you the numbers. I'm going to teach you something right now that it took me 2 years of hard work in the trenches to figure out. So I'm going to shave 2 years of your learning curve off right now. By 2005, I'd been a real estate investor for 2 years. And I calculated in my first 2 years, I generated about 400 leads. What does that mean? It means I looked at a house every couple of days for the first couple of years. And then I did the math. And this is where it gets interesting. Here's what I figured out. As a rookie, for every $100 I spent on paid marketing, things like direct mail, I got 1 qualified, motivated seller lead. As a rookie, on average, every 3 hours I spent on personal marketing, things like just driving around, looking at a list, I got 1 qualified, motivated seller lead. Then I figured out that as a rookie, on average, for every 20 leads that I got at least 1 deal that made me at least $20,000 net profit. So let me run the numbers for you. That means as a rookie, every time I drove around for 60 hours, I made at least $20,000 net profit on a deal. That means as a rookie, every time I sent out $2,000 in direct mail, I made at least $20,000 profit on a deal. Are you following the math? Okay, spend $2,000, make 20. Spend $2,000, make 20. Spend $4,000, make 40. Spend $8,000, make 80. Spend $16,000, make 160. Spend $32,000, you don't have to spend it all at once, by the way, make $320,000 net profit. That was 20 years ago as a rookie. By the way, the numbers are a lot better now. But even as a rookie, are you starting to like the numbers? It took me 2 years of hard work to figure this out. But after 2 years in the trenches, what I realized was, holy cow, this whole business is just a numbers game. And now I know the numbers. And I started to think about this business very differently after I figured this out. Now I think about this whole business, my business, like it's just a little black box. And we're going to call that little black box a marketing machine. And the way that little black box works is every time I stick $100 worth of marketing in one end, eventually $1,000 worth of net profit pops out the other end. Now, if you had a little black box, every time you shoved a $100 bill in one end, a $1,000 bill popped out the other end, how many dollars would you stick in the box? All of them. And I started spending money on marketing like a drunken sailor. I started spending thousands of dollars a month on marketing. And then I started spending tens of thousands of dollars a month on marketing. And then I hired 2 full-time, 6-figure guys who spend 100% of their time spending my money on marketing. One just runs the ad, the other does analytics. And today, some months I spend as much as $100,000 a month on marketing. Because once you know it's a numbers game, and once you know the numbers, you dial it in, and then you dial it up. And that's how marketing works. You dial it in, and then you dial it up. Sometime later, I actually wrote a book on real estate investing. I don't offer the book anymore. I found that books are not all that helpful when it comes to real estate investing. Even my book, great book. But here's the thing, real estate's not that complicated. I went to engineering school. Now that was complicated. I had to take calculus, calculus 2, calculus 3. By the time I took calculus 3, I had to remember calculus 1 and 2. It was really complicated. But I've never had to solve a differential equation to flip a house. It's not that complicated. But unlike engineering and calculus, mile deep, real estate's a mile wide. It's not complicated, but there's a million little details. And the thing you have to understand about real estate is not really like learning a language, or I'm sorry, like a skill, it's like learning a language. But you can't learn a language from reading a book, can you? Go read 100 books on how to speak Spanish, you'll learn how to count to 10. There's only one way to learn a language. How do you learn a language? You go to Spain, you want to eat or go to the bathroom, you learn some Spanish. So you have to immerse yourself in it. And it was not until my wife and I joined the REIA that we started to hear things 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 times, immerse ourselves and really learn how this works. So we're about to get to the final part of the presentation, which is the strategies, arguably the most interesting part. But if you remember at the beginning of this whole thing, I said, my job is to make you educated and contributing members of this community. And we really want you to be educated and contributing, because we figured out a long time ago that, everybody makes money when you do things. But I also figured out a long time ago that I can't turn somebody into a real estate investor in 45 minutes. If I could only figure out how to spend 45 minutes turning everybody into real estate investors, that would be awesome. I don't know how to do that, but I can, and I have turned people into real estate investors over a period of 24 hours. Or maybe it would be more accurate to say 24 hours spread out over 3 days, giving us the time to get through all the nitty-gritty details of how this works. So something we do here at the REIA to help our members get started is exactly that. The REIA sponsors the Flipping 3-day workshop. I teach this myself, practical, actionable, detailed, step-by-step training, right? Where we get through all of the 65 ways to find these deals, all of the 12 ways to do the deals. We teach the closes, the exact ways to actually close the deal. How to partner, great way to get started is to partner with experienced people. Now, people always ask, why would somebody partner with me? Why would a millionaire, multi-millionaire real estate investor want to partner with a rookie? Well, I'm going to give you all a fact of life. If you ever want to do business with somebody operating at a higher business stature than you, how do you do that? You're going to have to help them before they'll help you. That's just how life works. So what could you do, for example, to get a multi-millionaire real estate investor to want to partner with you? Find them a money-making deal, because that's what they want. So I'm going to teach you 65 ways to find deals. I'm going to introduce you to people you can partner with. I'm going to introduce you to 1,000 private money lenders, right? Private money is faster, cheaper, better than hard money or any other money. I'm going to teach you 12 different ways to actually do the deals. I'm going to teach you the exact words to say to actually close the deals. So that's what the workshop is all about. We do this live and in person, and we do this simulcast online. Some of the special topics, I'm going to show you heat maps. Nobody else in the world has broken Texas down like we have. We literally can zoom in down to the street level and show you exactly which streets to buy and hold in, and exactly which streets you would never buy and hold in. Nobody has this data other than us. I'm going to show you how to get off-market deals from outsourcing. I have teams of people in the Philippines that I use to outsource. How about how to get paid offering to remodel houses for free? It is one of the safest, easiest, and most profitable way to make a fortune. It sounds unbelievable. Well, it is unbelievable, and it's an irresistible offer. How about how to get 3% mortgages? People are all complaining, oh, mortgages are so expensive. Mortgages are 7%. Who would like to get a 3% mortgage with no money down and no credit needed? Anybody want that loan? Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Yeah, there's a new loan product. I will get you that loan, 3% interest, no money down, no application needed, no credit required. Isn't that sound amazing? That is amazing. You know, that's such an amazing trick. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to make you wait. I'll teach you that one in just a few minutes. But it's a pretty amazing thing, and I'll even give you an example of how you can walk out of here and get that loan. How to use AI. This is how I do it. I use artificial intelligence to talk to people while I'm sleeping and negotiate and get things, appointments scheduled. How to use virtual assistants to help find your deals, both commercial deals and residential deals. So that's a little sample of what I teach at the workshop. If you'd like to come join us, you can join us in person and or online, and just pick the date and locations that work best for you. Oh, another thing. Now this is something I'm going to ask you to do. You can come to the workshop. We want all of you to get trained, so come and join us for free. You can also join the REIA. If you would like to join the REIA, there are huge benefits of becoming a member of this organization. Okay, this organization, the Texas REIAs, is the only organization in Texas that actively lobbies on the behalf of protecting the rights of real estate investors in Texas. On a number of occasions, we have become this close to losing wraparound mortgages, seller financing, wholesaling. It is only because this organization pays tens of thousands of dollars a year for lobbyists to protect your rights as real estate investors that some of these things remain legal and viable in Texas. So if you would like to become a member of this organization, there are huge benefits to joining the REIA. When you come to the workshop, you become a VIP, which means you get preferred front row or front in the room seating. We have VIP lunches and special sessions for the members. So you definitely want to do that. If I'm going to spend 3 days at an event, I definitely want to be a VIP. But even better than that, how would you like to get access to our online group? Who would like to have access to 20,000 buyers today? Anybody want 20,000 buyers? Join the REIA. Who would like to have access to 1,000 private money lenders? Who would like 1,000 private money lenders? If your hand is not up, you're really missing out, because that's the competitive advantage that everybody wants. We have vendors that are making all of this possible. They'll set it up so your IRA can invest in real estate. We have passive investing opportunities. We have special training, special opportunities. All of that becomes with becoming a member of this organization. That's how you can interact with me and tens of thousands of other members. We have a Texas Money Resource Guide, special training program. So please join the REIA. If you'd like to join the REIA, there's a cost to that. It's one-time cost of $250, but we'll even give you a deal there today only. It is $100. So join the REIA for $100, but whether you join the REIA or not, you can come to the training, because we really want all of you to be educated, contributing members. So do we have a form? Can we hand out some of the forms? And give me one of these forms. So to register for the free training, just fill out the form. I'll show you what it looks like on the form. The form is, oh, and if you join the REIA, you also get invited to the commercial class as well. So, and for you guys online, we'll click this form online, so we'll post it for you guys online. For you guys live, the only way to do it is here live, because it's a right now thing. So here's the form, guys. Name, address, or name and phone number at the top. Please write legibly, or else somebody else will get your tickets. Pick which workshop you want to come to: Austin, Dallas, Houston. Okay? The date that is under the city is day one. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so the date is day one of the 3 days. So pick which day. Let us know if you want to come in person or if you want to come online. Even if you come in person, you can also attend online, so you can go back and forth if you want to. Notice that today the workshop is free, so you can come and join us for free. If you would also like to join the REIA, please join the REIA. It is only $100 to join the REIA, and if you're going to join the REIA, check the second box as well, and it's $100 to join the REIA. We're going to collect the forms outside, so hold on to your form. You don't have to fill it out right now, but we will collect the forms in a little while on your way out of here. Down at the bottom of the form, tell us a little bit more about you. We have all kinds of vendors and resources. We will hook you up with resources that will help you with whatever types of real estate investing pursuits you would like to pursue. If you have the slightest interest in real estate, ask any expert and they will tell you the first thing to do is to go join your local real estate investor association. This is by far the largest network of real estate investor associations in the great state of Texas, with well over 150,000 members and participants going back to 2003. So if you have the slightest interest in real estate, you really should join the REIA. But I get it, if $100 is too much for right now, you should also get training. You can come and get the training for free. Now, another thing we have is a really cool poster. I'll show you the poster in a little while. And that's also if you join the REIA. So please fill out the form legibly. Again, we'll collect the form at the end. Pick the date. The date on the form is day one of the 3 days. This date is incorrect, so I didn't update this form, but they're correct on the form. Okay, so I'll get back to answering questions about that, explaining a few more details about it at the end, but I want to wrap up the training by talking about strategy. And I want to teach you some of the mechanics of how these deals actually work. And people ask me all the time, well, what's the best strategy? Right? There's so many options when it comes to investing in real estate, so what are the best options? Well, I'm going to answer that question right now, because there's a lot of ways that you can invest in real estate. For example, you can do short sales. Okay, you can do buy and hold. You can do mortgage assignments. You can do auction options, referrals. You can do wholesaling, contracts for deeds. You can do lease options. You can do house swapping, wraparound mortgages. You can do equity partnering, and of course you can do fix and flip. And you can certainly spend a lot of time and money on all this training and education. My wife and I have actually spent over $100,000 on training, courses, seminars. Most of it was great. Some of it was not great. It all sounded great. But I don't feel bad about spending over $100,000 on my education because we've actually made many millions of dollars from our education. But I do have a little pet peeve on how most people teach and how most people get taught. Because when you look at all of these strategies, here's the good news. They all work. All of these things can make you money investing in real estate. That's the good news. The bad news is that each of these strategies is actually the solution to a specific problem. So let's talk about that. So job one. Remember job one, finding the deal. Let's talk about that. You're a brand new investor, you're looking for a deal. So you do marketing. You get the name and number of somebody that might want to sell real estate. Well, you got a lead. If you had gotten the right training, you could help the seller solve their problem using a strategy called a wraparound mortgage. But that's not the training you got. This guy just went to one of those silly wholesale seminars. All he learned how to do was wholesaling. So he's looking for a wholesale deal. He found a wrap deal. He doesn't know how to do a wrap. So he can't make money on that lead and he can't help that seller. So what's he going to do? He's going to do some more marketing. He's going to generate another lead. And now, if he only knew how to do a mortgage assignment, he could help somebody solve their problem with that strategy. But again, he doesn't know how to do that because all he knows how to do is wholesaling. And he's looking for a wholesale deal. So he generates some more leads, and he gets another lead. Now, if he only knew how to do an auction option, he could solve a big problem and get a big check. But again, he doesn't know how to do that because all this guy knows how to do is wholesaling, and he's still looking for a wholesale deal. Are you starting to see a problem? This is big rookie mistake number two. There's 30,000 YouTube videos that teach people how to get started investing in real estate. What most of that education says is you need to get started by learning one strategy, and this is the best one. No, this is the best one. No, this is the best one. Well, whatever. You need to learn a strategy, make money on that strategy, and after you learn how to make money on that strategy, later on you can learn some other strategy. Sounds pretty good, feels pretty good, but forgive my language when I say this, that is a completely ass-backwards way to go about this. Saying you need to get started by learning one strategy, make money on one strategy before you learn the other strategy, that's kind of like saying you need to go to Las Vegas and learn how to bet on one number on the roulette wheel. And after you make enough money betting over and over and over again on that one number on the roulette wheel, well, later on you can learn how the other numbers work. Well, that's ridiculous. But that's how 95% of real estate investors get started investing in real estate. There's no surprise that 95% of real estate investors give up before they ever get going. Saying you need to get started on one strategy and learn one strategy before the other strategy is like betting on one number on the roulette wheel. That's ridiculous. Sounds good, but forgive my language, it's a half-assed way to do it. So I'm going to show you what the top 5% of investors do. And my advice is to play to be in the top 5% or don't bother because they make all the money. This is how I do it. This is how I'm going to teach you how to do it at the workshop. What I do is I bet on all of the numbers on the wheel, and then I spin the wheel a lot. And what do I mean by I bet on all the numbers on the wheel? I use all 12 strategies. I teach all 12 strategies. Why not learn all 12 ways to solve a problem, all 12 ways to fill out a contract? You spend time and money to find somebody that might want to sell a house. If there's a way to help them and solve the problem and get paid, you need to help them and solve the problem and get paid. And once you know all 12 strategies, we have a solution for every problem that exists. There is no exception. Motivated seller, non-motivated seller, free and clear, underwater. And then what do you want to do next? You want to spin the wheel a lot, which means look at a lot of deals, which means make a lot of offers, which means do a lot of marketing. This is what the top 5% excuse me, of investors do. My advice, play to be in the top 5% or don't bother. So how do you do that? You do a lot of marketing and you use all of the strategies. So let me teach you a couple strategies. First, actually, I'm going to tell you another story. This is my first big deal. After I was a real estate investor for just over 2 years, I flipped this house. And actually made $291,000 flipping this house. Pretty good deal, pretty good profit. But the more interesting part of the story is I was actually the 8th investor to look at the deal. What does that mean? It means 7 other real estate investors looked at this deal before me and passed on the deal. Now, how is that even possible? How could 7 different real estate investors pass on a deal, on an opportunity to make almost $300,000 on a house? How's that even possible? I'm going to tell you it's not just possible, it's actually typical. I'll tell you the rest of the story. First investor walks into this house, says, I'd love to buy your house, but you're underwater. You owe more money than the house is worth. You can't even afford to sell me your house. Second investor walks into this house, says, I'd love to buy your house, but you're in bankruptcy. I can't buy a house from somebody in bankruptcy. Third investor walks into this house and says, well, I can help you avoid a foreclosure by doing something called a short sale, but I can't do that while you're in bankruptcy. Plus, you have a mid-construction project. I don't do mid-construction project. I walked into this house and I said, my, oh my, oh my, you have a lot of big problems, don't you? Big problem means what? Big opportunity. You know, it took 1, 2, 3 different strategies to solve this guy's problem. I solved the problem. I got the check. My competition was a bunch of one-trick ponies. Most of my competitors are a bunch of one-trick ponies. There's 30,000 YouTube videos that teach people to be one-trick ponies. One-trick ponies are annoying. They get in the way at times, but they don't last long. If you think you're going to find pretty houses at big discounts just waiting for you out there hanging on trees, yeah, you're smoking crack, okay? This is what opportunity looks like. A big bundle of problems with a nice, pretty bow around. I want a house where half the house burned down. I want a house that flooded. I want a house that has mold. I want a house where a meth lab exploded in the garage. I want a house where someone was murdered in the living room. Oh, yeah. You can make a killing on a murder house. I own one. How do you make a killing in a murder house? I need to change your mindsets. Let me ask you guys a question. What do you think it cost to buy a murder house? Anybody want to guess? Yeah, not much. Like 20 cents on the dollar. Not much. Okay, so you buy a murder house for 20 cents on the dollar. And do you know what everybody says when they go by that house? They point at that house, that's a murder house. And a year later, they're going by that house. You know what they say? They point at that house and they're like, something bad happened in that house. And a couple years later, they go by that house. You know what they do? They kind of look in the direction. They're like, somewhere around here, something happened. About 5 years later, they go by that house. You know what they say? How much? Stigmas go away. Somebody gets shot in a bar, it's a crime scene. A few years later, it's a tourist attraction. I bought a house for $180, now it's worth $480. What did I do to the house? I did nothing to the house. I just rented it out to a guy that didn't mind living in a murder house. Okay? I gave him a deal. Yeah. The point is, murder's not common, but stigma's common. Right? There's all kinds of stigmas. And the bigger point is that problems are opportunities. So if you're thinking like, I don't want any problems, you're thinking you don't want to be an entrepreneur. We're just real estate entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs solve problems. That's what all entrepreneurs have in common with all other entrepreneurs. So I'm going to give you solutions for every conceivable problem there is. And then I'm going to show you how to find the problems. And that's what we do. I'll tell you another story. One of my students recently bought one of those $150,000 Teslas, and he paid cash for it. And he calls it his air car. Air car. H-E-I-R, air car. Yeah, somebody died without a will. But they did have 42 heirs. Do you know 2 out of 3 people don't have a will? Light bulb. But they did have 42 heirs, and everybody said, no way, man, there's no way you're going to get 42 people to agree on something. Big problem. Okay, he rolled up his sleeves, and it took a little effort, but eventually got 42 people to agree that a little bit of something is a whole lot better than a whole lot of nothing, and now he's driving around a $150,000 air car. Problems are opportunities. Big problems, big opportunities. So we find people with problems, marketing, and we have a solution for every problem. We help people solve their problems. Strategy. So let's talk about some strategy. I have a little time tonight. I'll teach you 2 strategies. The first strategy I'm going to teach you is wholesale. It's actually the easiest one to teach. I'll teach you right now. You simply find a property and get it under contract. How much does it cost to get a property under contract? Nothing. Can we all afford that? Yes, I think so. So, we find a property, get it under contract, and then instead of buying the property, we simply sell our contract, our equitable interest, to another investor for a fee. Okay, how much is the fee? $500 to $5,000 on a small deal, $10,000 to $25,000 on an average deal, $25,000 or more in a big deal. And this is a no money, no risk strategy. I've discovered it's really hard to lose money when you're not actually spending or investing any money. So let me give you an example of a deal. And when you come to the workshop, by the way, here's how I teach. I teach the theory. I just taught you the theory, but then I tell the story. And I'm probably going to tell you at least 100 different stories. The story is how somebody actually did it. And I think it's more impactful to learn from the story than the theory. Theories are good, stories is where you really understand it. So I'll give you an example. This is Kimberly. She came to the workshop. She went out and did her first deal. This was her first deal. She told me about this deal after it went down. So here's the whole story. Her mom was visiting her from out of town. So she's in the car with her mom, and her mom's like, Kim, where are we going? Oh, well, Mom, we're going to get a house under contract. What? Kim, are you crazy? What are you talking about? You just graduated from college. You don't have any money. You don't have any credit. You don't even have a job. What do you mean you're getting a house under contract? Don't worry, Mom, I know what I'm doing. So Kim's mom watched Kim walk into this house and offer the seller $265,000 cash for his house. And he signed a contract. Now, obviously, they talked on the phone ahead of time. Obviously, he was a motivated seller. Kim then took that contract and she posted it out to this network. Do you know that we meet every minute of every day online? Do you know thousands and thousands and thousands of times over the last decade, the members of this community post their deals, offers, contracts, questions, resources back and forth on that network, right? That's what we do. That's why you want to be a member of this network, because that's how you interact with everybody on the network. That's how you get access to 20,000 buyers in a minute. And I said earlier, by the way, you're not going to find your deal in the MLS, right? Because that's the retail market, right? That's the retail pond. That's the pond with the small fish. You need to fish in the wholesale pond. Okay, that's the pond